At the edge of the mist-shrouded town of Raven's Hollow stood Blackthorn Manor, a decaying Victorian relic with sagging eaves and windows like hollow eyes. Its previous owner, my great-aunt Agatha, had died alone, supposedly, leaving the house to me in her will. The townsfolk warned me not to go. They spoke of shadows that moved without light, of a child's laughter echoing in empty halls, and of the 7 people who'd vanished on its grounds over a century. I didn't believe them, not until the first night. The key turned with a screech and the door groaned open, releasing a breath of stale, sepulchral air. Dust motes swirled in the beam of my flashlight, settling on moth-eaten drapes and furniture shrouded in sheets. The floorboards whined like tortured souls. "It's just an old house," I muttered, though the words tasted hollow. By midnight the whispers began, faint at first, a susurrus behind the walls, like fingernails dragging across plaster. I told myself it was rats. Then came the cold spots, pockets of air so frigid my breath crystallized. In the hallway mirror I glimpsed a pale figure standing behind me, its face a blur of static. When I spun around, nothing was there. The nursery was the worst. I found it on the 3rd floor, its door slightly ajar. Inside, a rusted crib sat beneath a cracked mobile of crows. A music box on a dresser began to tinkle Greensleeves, though no one had wound it. The melody slithered into my skull, and for a heartbeat I saw her. A girl in a tattered white nightgown, her eyes gouged out, her mouth sewn shut. She pointed at the crib. "Mine!" the walls hissed. I fled, but the door slammed shut. The music box played faster, frenzied as the temperature plummeted. Frost spiderwebbed across the walls, forming words. "Stay with us." Days bled together, sleep became impossible. Shadows pooled in corners, thickening into shapes. A hunched woman with a bonnet, a child skipping rope, a man whose neck bent at an impossible angle. They watched. They waited. In the parlor, I discovered Agatha's journal. Her spidery script confessed horrors, seances gone wrong, a doorway she'd opened in the attic, a hunger the house developed. "It demands a soul every 33 years, she wrote, "or it takes them all." The last entry froze my blood. "I've run out of strangers to lure here. It wants family now. Forgive me, Eleanor, my name." The attic hatch crashed open on the 7th night, a black maw exhaling the stench of rot. I climbed, compelled by a force I couldn't fight. The room was a chapel of nightmares, black candles, symbols carved into the floor, and a mirror draped in a blood-stained sheet. Agatha stood in the reflection, her face a melted wax mask. "Join us," she rasped, clawing at the glass. Behind her the lost souls writhed, mouths open in silent screams. The house shuddered, alive and ravenous. Floorboards snapped like bones, swallowing my legs. Cold hands erupted from the walls, dragging me toward the mirror. Agatha's grin split her face. "It's your turn to feed the house. They say you can still hear the music box playing at midnight." Sometimes a face flickers in the attic window, mine, staring out as the house waits for the next heir to arrive. After all, Blackthorn Manor always gets hungry.